Moon Shadow in the Mirror. Chapter 1, The Covenant of Childhood Plums. So Zealand and Tong Yuanting have been childhood sweethearts since childhood, and the two have similar family backgrounds, so they got engaged early. Zealand has a gentle and tenacious personality, with the shyness and softness characteristic of Jiangnan water towns. Yuanting is like the Yuan in his name, deep and warm, and the two have spent countless spring and autumn together. The Sui family and the Tong family have a close relationship, respect, and rely on each other, and this marriage contract is a carefully planned alliance by the family elders. On the day of the engagement, Su Zealand wore a plain embroidered dress, an old wedding ring, and an unconcealable smile on her face. Yuanting stayed outside the door early, his expression was gentle, and when she went out, he whispered, "Zealand, wait for me, we will continue to be like this." However, fate has never made their stories so simple. Chapter 2, The Day of the Covenant Change. When the wedding venue was lit up and relatives and friends gathered, a man in a tailored suit broke into everyone's sight, Tong Yuanlang, Tong Yuanting's brother. It is rumored that he has been honing abroad for many years, and recently returned to China, and is now the real power helmsman of the Zhou group, with a heavy temperament. "There is a change in the engagement ceremony," Yuanlang said coldly. His voice was not high, but it was enough to suppress the chatter and laughter around him. "I will replace Yuanting." So Zealand was stunned, but Yuanting was stunned but couldn't refute it. Everyone whispered Yuanlang's identity and status, and everyone present knew that his rise to power meant deeper family interests. So Zealand was forced to accept this change, and she had mixed feelings in her heart, but she held back her tears and accepted it silently. Chapter 3, The Shadow of Prestige. Yuanlang is tall, his face is cold, and his tone often carries a hint of detachment and deliberate etiquette, like a sculpture, but when he looks closely, he hides an imperceptible sadness. He was not enthusiastic, and his attitude towards Zealand was calm and restrained, as if the marriage was just a family transaction. Zealand thought that he was just upright, unwilling to be emotionally involved, and only wanted the interests of the family. But as time went on, she found that Yuanlang occasionally cared about her, intentionally or unintentionally, and even carefully returned her old wedding ring, saying, "Put it away." This ring seems to connect the past and the future, and also builds a subtle bridge between them. Chapter 4, The Dark Tide is Surging. After getting married, Zealand gradually integrated into the high-level circle of the Zhou family, witnessing Yuanlang's responsibility and loneliness. He controls a huge industrial chain and deals with countless political and economic turmoil, but the secret behind it shocks Zealand. It turns out that behind Yuanlang's indifference is to protect a tightly concealed family shady. An ancient pact of family honor, the underground forces involved, and a political conspiracy emerge. Zealand is determined not to be a passive pawn anymore and begins to face these challenges with Yuanlang. Chapter 5, Emotional Countercurrents. Yuanting fell into the dilemma of not being able to participate in the marriage contract, and struggled and contradicted in his heart. He loves Zealand, but watching his brother gradually develop feelings for her, he can only hide it deep in his heart. Zealand also gradually sensed the pain of the abyss, and his heart welled up with guilt and confusion. On an unexpected night, Zealand and Yuanting meet in the courtyard of the old mansion and reveal their sincerity to each other. This conversation becomes a turning point in their relationship, and Zealand understands that he must choose whether to protect his family's honor or pursue his own happiness. Chapter 6, The Moon in the Mirror. At a family meeting, Yuanlang accidentally exposed the suspicion of his connection with the underground forces, and the trust within the family instantly collapsed. Regardless of the danger, Zealand supports Yuanlang, exposes the real culprit behind the scenes, and proves Yuanlang's innocence. At this time, Zealand saw the most real pain and persistence in his eyes, and understood that his coldness was to protect his beloved. Yuanlang finally let go of his reserve and confessed to Zealand that he had been lonely and stressed for many years, and the two had a heart-to-heart understanding and a deeper relationship. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 7, The Storm Rises. Just as everything seemed to be calming down, Yuan Ting was involved in an accident due to a family dispute, and his life and death were uncertain. Zealand and Yuan Lang fight side by side, trying to clear their grievances and rebuild their family's glory. Zealand's tenacity and wisdom, his decisiveness and gentleness, became a symbol of the family's new hope. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 8, The Bright Moon Shines Together. After the turmoil, Yuan Ting miraculously survived, but decided to leave the country to find his own freedom. Zealand and Yuan Lang joined hands to continue to protect the family in the future. Zealand put the old wedding ring into the box, Yuan Lang held her hand, and said, "We in the past are all moon shadows in the mirror, and the road to the future will be illuminated together." Chapter 9, Beyond the Abyss. In the days after Yuan Ting left, Su Zealand and Tong Yuan Lang's lives seemed to gradually return to peace. On the surface, the wind is calm, but in fact, the undercurrent is surging. The power struggle within the Zhou family is still fierce, and Yuan Lang is facing challenges from all sides, and the pressure is more than ever. Zealand grew more and more in this family storm. She learned to analyze carefully, learned to dissolve the cold with tenderness, and mastered the situation with wisdom. One night, Yuan Lang invited her to the study on the top floor of the Zhou family's villa. Outside the window is the lights of thousands of homes, but it can't stop the solemn atmosphere inside. Zealand, Yuan Lang put down the documents in his hand, his eyes deep. Some people within the family are beginning to doubt my ability, and some people are even secretly contacting competitors with the intention of seizing power. Su Zealand clenched his hand and whispered, "We will definitely be able to get through it, because we have each other." Yuan Lang smiled slightly. This was a rare moment of softness. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 10, The Fog Under the Moon. There is more than one enemy within the Zhou family. Zealand discovers that the family is hiding a traitor who has gone undetected for years, who has taken advantage of the family's trust to leak secrets and secretly plot usurpation. This traitor is not only familiar with every secret of the Zhou family, but also has inextricable links with Yuan Lang's past enemies. By chance, Zealand found an unsent letter in the family's ancient books, revealing a clue to the traitor's identity. She and Yuan Lang began to investigate secretly, but found that the closer they got to the truth, the greater the danger. One night, she was followed by a mysterious man on her way home, but fortunately Yuan Lang arrived in time to save her. As a result, the relationship between the two is closer and stronger. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 11, Fire and Ice. The identity of the traitor was revealed, and it turned out to be Yuan Lang's distant relative Tong Yuan Xiao, a low-key person on the surface, but actually ambitious. He had been ostracized by his family for many years and had a grudge. Yuan Xiao used the resources in his hands to try to provoke the Zhou family's partnership with the outside world, causing the family to fall into a crisis of trust. Zealand and Yuan Lang worked together to fight back, but Yuan Xiao secretly resorted to more ruthless methods, and even tried to force Yuan Lang to compromise by threatening Su Zealand. In a fierce confrontation, Zealand is forced to face the threat of the abyss alone, showing her unprecedented courage and wisdom. She skillfully uses the power structure within the family to isolate Yuan Xiao. This game of ice and fire pushed Yuan Lang and Zealand to a deeper crisis and trust test. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 12, The Eve of the Storm. Yuan Lang officially took full control of the Zhou group, but at the cost of having to distance himself from Zealand, as the political situation became increasingly tense and any emotional fluctuations could be exploited by his opponents. Zealand understands his plight, silently endures loneliness, and continues to play a strong role in the family and business battlefields. Yuan Ting suddenly returned to China, bringing a mysterious letter from overseas, revealing that there was a larger conspiracy outside the Zhou family, involving the secret wrestling of international forces. The news was like a calm before the storm, and everyone took their breath away. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 13, The Battle of the Mirrors. Together with Zealand, Enron decides to confront this international conspiracy. They use the resources of the family business to lay traps and secretly fight back. In a high IQ mirror showdown, the enemy test each other, and the transition between attack and defense is as fast as lightning. Yuan Ting provided unexpected help at a critical moment to save Zilan from his predicament, which also proved that he was still reluctant to let go of this past in his heart. Zilan and Yuan Lang finally found each other's most solid support in the intricate situation like a mirror. Chapter 14, The Light of the End. After many turmoil, the Zhou family finally cleared up internal and external troubles. Yuan Lang stood at the pinnacle of the family and business with a more mature and determined attitude, and Zealand became his indispensable partner and lover. One moonlit night, Yuan Lang put the old wedding ring that had been left behind back on Zealand's finger and whispered, "This time, it won't be left again." So Zealand smiled, staring at the bright moon, and knew in her heart that the pain and entanglement of the past would eventually turn into the light of the future. The two stood side by side under the bright moon, their figures intertwined into an eternal picture. Chapter 15, Broken Shadows. The turmoil in the Zhou family subsided for a while, but So Zealand found out that she was pregnant. This news is like a ray of warm sun, piercing through the haze of the past, and also injecting new hope into her relationship with Yuan Lang. However, news of the pregnancy is noticed by an ambitious relative within the family, who begins to spread rumors behind her back, intending to shake Zealand's position. In the face of public pressure, Zealand did not choose to retreat, but chose to respond with actions. She used her personal experience to show her family members the power of women's resilience and wisdom, and won the respect and support of more people. During this period of time, Yuan Lang was even more fond of Zealand, and the relationship between the two reached an unprecedented depth. Chapter 16, A New Chapter of Dawn. As Zealand entered the late stage of pregnancy, the Zhou family's career also ushered in a new challenge. Fierce competition and policy changes in the international market made the company face transformation. Yuan Lang decided to lead the team to carry out drastic reforms, transforming from a traditional family business to technological innovation and sustainable development. Zealand was also actively involved in it, coming up with many innovative ideas. This change is not only a test for the company, but also a test for family cohesion. Chapter 17, Wind and Rain. Just when everything was going well, a sudden financial storm swept the world. The stock price of Zhou's company plummeted, the partner was in trouble, and there were different voices within the family. Zealand and Yuan Lang teamed up to stabilize the situation. They held an emergency meeting, adjusted their strategy, and even went to the negotiation in person, using wisdom and courage to save the day. Yuan Ting returned again at this time, bringing key financial and information support, and the three of them worked together to get out of the crisis, which also relieved the misunderstandings in the past. Chapter 18, Born at the Beginning of Tomorrow. Finally, on a warm spring night, Zealand gave birth to a healthy baby boy. This little life is not only a continuation of the family, but also a testimony of the love between Zealand and Yuan Lang. Yuan Lang hugged his son, his eyes flashing with indescribable tenderness and firmness. He promised, "No matter how stormy the future is, we will protect this home and guard our light." Zealand looked at the bright moonlight outside the window, and knew in his heart that the moon shadows in those mirrors would eventually become the light that guided them forward. Chapter 19, Inheritance and Rebirth. Time flies, and the Zhou family has become even stronger after the baptism of wind and rain. Zealand is no longer just a shadow beside Yuan Lang, but has become an indispensable leader of the family and business. She and Yuan Lang work together to develop a blueprint for the future of the family, and integrate family values with modern concepts to cultivate a new generation of family members, so that the inheritance is no longer rigid but dynamic and innovative. Yuan Ting also found his own direction, devoted himself to public welfare, and became a member of the Guardian Society. Ending, Eternal Covenant Under the Moon. At a grand spring family dinner, Zealand and Yuan Lang exchange wedding rings again, this time without any external pressure and shadow, Only sincere love and commitment. They swore in the moonlight, no matter what the future may change, we will walk together forever. The bright moon is like a wash, reflecting the firm figures of the two, and the story also draws a successful end in this affection and hope. Underscore 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 un. Postscript. It tells not only the power struggle of the family, but also the story of love and responsibility, perseverance, and growth. The experience of Suzy Lan and Tong Yuan Lang tells us that a real alliance is not only a combination of interests, but also a fit of heart. Every relationship has the light and shadow of the moon shadow in the mirror, and only by facing it bravely and protecting it sincerely can this light last forever and illuminate each other's future.